Hey, seventh grade. I know this is a bit unexpected, but this is a video of me walking through each problem from your homework assignment today. I fully planned on being with you to work on this, but this is going to have to do. Your goal for today is to try each problem on your own and then watch me do the problem. So hopefully you're making an attempt to do it on your own, and then you can be checking your work. I'm going to go all the way through it, so make sure you pause it when you are ready to work on the next question. So question 1 says you are downloading movies for a vacation. If each movie takes 1 2/5 hours to download, how many movies can you download in 5 1/4 hours? So we are trying to figure out how many full movies we can download. So I'm going to scroll down and start my number 1. Of course, your answers and your work might look a little bit different than mine, but the process should be the same. So if we know it takes 1 2/5 hours to download each movie, then we are going to use division to figure out how many movies we can download in that amount of time. So we have 5 1/4 hours, and we're going to be dividing that by 1 2/5 hours to figure out how many movies we can download. So we are going to switch this into improper fractions. So 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 is 21. So that gives us 21/4 divided by 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7, 7/5. Now that they are improper fractions, we're going to change that into a multiplication problem. We're doing 21/4 times 5/7. So we had to flip the second fraction and change it to multiplication, and that gives us an answer of 105/28. Now 105/28 movies doesn't make too much sense, so we are going to convert that into a mixed number. I know that 28 can fit into 105 3 times. 3 times 28 is 84, and that means we have 21 left over. So that would be 3 and 21/28, which simplifies to 3 3/4. So 3 3/4 movies would be a perfectly acceptable answer. However, we want to use a little logic and understand that if you download 3/4 of a movie, it doesn't do that much good. So your answer can be 3 movies. But if you have the answer 3 3/4 movies, that would be perfectly acceptable as well. Make sure you pause this video and work on number 2. And we're on to number 2. It says the area of a blackboard is 1 1/3 square yards. A poster's area is 8/9 square yards. Find the unit rate and explain what it means in the context of this problem. So the key here is we are going to keep these as fractions. I know a lot of you like to convert to decimals, but to find a unit rate, it won't be as useful. So we have a poster at 1 1/3 square yards, and the blackboard is 1 1/3 square yards. The poster is 8/9 square yards. So we know that the blackboard is bigger. So what we're going to do to find the unit rate is we are going to divide. We're going to divide our 1 1/3 by our 8/9. That'll look like 4/3 times 9/8, which will give us 36/24. That's going to simplify to 3 halves. So our ratio, or our unit rate, is 3/2. And the second part of the question says, find the unit rate and explain what it means in the context of this problem. So all the 3/2 ratio means is you can write the blackboard is 3/2 times bigger than the poster. And that's all that means when it says to explain what it means in the context of this problem. We figured out the blackboard is 1.5 or 3/2 times bigger than the poster. Other people might have done this problem by dividing both sides by 1 1/3. And then your answer would just be the poster is 2/3 the size of the blackboard. Pause this video and go ahead and try number 3. Number 3 is a very similar problem to number 2. We have a toy Jeep being 12.5 inches long and the actual Jeep measuring 18 3/4 feet long. So the first thing I want you to notice is that the labels are different, and when we come up with a value of the ratio, that will be important. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide our 12.5 by 18 3/4 to come up with the value of the ratio. So this will turn into 25/2 divided by 75/4. I'll go to multiplication. That'll turn to 25/2 times 4/75. And that will equal 100/150, or 2/3. So the ratio in this case, because of our labels, is for 2 inches to 3 feet. So in the context of this situation, that means that the toy Jeep we'll say represents like 2 inches for every 3 feet of real Jeep. So we found the value of the ratio, and in this case, because of the different labels, for every 2 inches of toy Jeep, there's 3 feet of real Jeep. Moving on to number 4. So number 4 says to make 5 dinner rolls, 1/3 cup of flour is used. And then there are 3 questions, A, B, and C. It says how much flour is needed to make 1 dinner roll. So for 4A, I know that for 5 rolls, it takes 1/3 of a cup. So to find the value of 1 roll, I'm going to be dividing both 1/3 and 5 by 5. So that means 1 roll is equal to 1/3 divided by 5. So that looks like 1/3 times 1/5. Because if I am dividing by 5, I'm flipping the 5 and multiplying. And that means that is 1/15 of a cup. So 1/15 of a cup of flour for each roll. 4B says how many cups of flour are needed to make 3 dozen dinner rolls. So I know it takes 1/15 of a cup per roll. And I know that there are 12 per dozen, so I'm going to multiply that by 36, which gives us 36 over 15, which simplifies to 2 2/5 cups. And for 4C, it says how many rolls can you make with 5 2/3 cups of flour? So in that case, I'm taking 5 2/3. I know that it takes 1/15 of a cup for each roll. So I'm going to divide by 1/15 to see how many total rolls we can make. So that's going to look like 17 over 3 times 15 over 1. Because again, when I'm changing my division to multiplication, I'm flipping the second fraction and multiplying. So 17 times 15 is 255. That over 3. And that gives us a total of 85 rolls. Question 5. I'm hoping we don't run out of room. It says Jason eats 10 ounces of candy in 5 days. It says how many pounds does he eat each day? So we need to recognize that 16 ounces is equal to 1 pound. And we're trying to figure out how much he eats in one day. So we're dividing both of these by 5, which gives us 2 ounces per day. And we can understand that 2 ounces over 16 ounces as a fraction will give us 1/8 of a pound per day. Because 2 ounces per day is the same as 1/8 of a pound per day. For 5B, it says how many days will it take Jason to eat 1 pound of candy? Well, if he's eating 1/8 of a pound per day, then we can simply know that 1/8 times 8 will equal 1 pound. So our answer is going to be 8 days. That's, of course, if he eats 2 ounces of candy each day, which probably is not enough. Number 6. The local bakery uses 1.75 cups of flour in each batch of cookies. The bakery used 5.25 cups of flour this morning. How many batches of cookies did the bakery make? So if we have 1.75 cups per batch, and we use a total of 5.25 cups, we're going to use division to figure out that there are 3 batches. So the bakery made 3 batches of cookies. For 5B, it says if there are 5 dozen cookies in each batch, how many cookies did the bakery make? So we're going to multiply 3 times 5 dozen, because there are 3 batches, and each batch has 5 dozen cookies, to give us 15 dozen cookies, and 15 times 12 in each dozen will give us 180 cookies. Appreciate you being patient and working with me through this assignment. I know it's not ideal. I'd much rather be here with you. Number 7, to the home stretch. If a store sells 3 1/3 pounds of turkey for $10.50, how much does each pound cost? So this is where we're going to find the rate. So 3 1/3 pounds for $10.50. So I am going to convert the decimal into a mixed number. And in order to find the price of 1 pound, I'm going to be dividing both of these by 3 1/3. So that will look like 21 over 2 divided by 10 thirds. If I make that multiplication, I have 21 over 2 times 3 over 10, which equals 63/20. That's going to simplify to $3.03. That equals $3.15. If you have the mixed number, that's perfectly fine. Some of you will realize that 3/20 of a dollar is the same as 15 cents, especially if you multiply that 3 and the 20 by 5. Okay, question 8. Very similar. If the same store sells 2.5 pounds of ham for $6.25 or $6 1/4, how much does each pound cost? So we're going to be dividing by 2.5. So that's going to look like 25/4 divided by 5 over 2. Flip it to multiplication. 25/4 times 2/5 equals 50/20. Simplifies to 5 over 2. And that is going to be $2.50. Last question. I put a hello there to make sure we had enough pages. Number 9, similar process. 3 3/4 pounds of candy for $20.25 or $20 1/4. Going to divide both sides by 3 3/4 to find the cost of 1 pound. So that will turn into 81/4 divided by 15/4, which turns into 81/4 times 4/15. We can cross cancel, but I'm not going to do that yet. If we multiply 81 times 4, that gives us 324 over 60. We can actually divide both of these by 12, which is going to get us 27 over 5. That's going to be the same as 5 2/5 for a final answer of $5.40. I hope as I walk through these problems they made some sense. Make sure you can look through these and see the steps I made. I appreciate those of you who tried these problems on your own before looking for the answers. If this is confusing, do not stress at all, right? I wasn't here. You weren't expected to be great at this today. So if you are stuck on this, just watch the video and we'll work on this hopefully tomorrow. Thanks.